And hi. This will be a YouTube capturing showing how to set up a virtual keyboard for Unreal. So I will directly get into, and we will switch the scene to the YouTube one. So let's start it right away. Okay. Let's see. First of all, what is a virtual keyboard? Some people don't know. Let me show you. So we have oops. I'm Googling here. Virtual keyboard is like this one, like you know it from the smartphone or something. Not the laser ones, but the keyboards that you see on screen, like the Windows Flow keyboard or such, the PlayStation keyboard or the keyboard on your Nintendo Switch. Those are virtual keyboards. And some systems do offer this directly with an Unreal Engine, like Linux or Mac OS. Windows Indies not. If you port to any platform like Xbox or PlayStation, you get the Xbox on PlayStation internal keyboard, but this certainly does not work for Windows. And where this is a problem is, for example, I have here the text input, and I want this to be controllable by the gamepad. So I'm going into my sub-window Twitch of my settings, and on construct I first off delay until next tick, so it's initialized, and then I say input channel name, set current focused widget. This is my own system of the subsystem, giving this one. If I now go into the settings, let me see. Now it's gamepad, but it's doing nothing, and that's simply because this. Yes, it cannot be focused, so we can also use the function button of this widget. Problem in this is Windows does not offer you a virtual keyboard. And this is a shame, because if you want your UI to be a bit more stylized, so like your UI should have specific styling, which you want also to apply on your keyboard, or you simply want gamepad support on Windows fully without the need of using a actual keyboard in front of you, which is tied to your PC, you have no other options than to download a virtual keyboard from Fab, which are pretty much expensive, or to create yourself your own one. And I will show you how this is working. First of all, we use Common UI. I highly recommend use Common UI wherever possible. This one is a common widget base of mine, which simply offers functions for size boxes. I can show you. It's empty. There is nothing inside. No functions here. This is simply my base stuff. If I want to add something special, I add it to this class, and it's inherited by everything else. So first of all, what is my text input here? My text input here is this blueprint widget. It's inheriting from my blueprint widget base. Again, this is empty, but it has a function inside of here, which is apply size to, which takes a size box and an input size, and it is automatically applying this. And the reason for this is I have a size box root here, and I have a text box set up, appearance text box size, and I simply call apply size to, and it's applied to this widget automatically. So this function is everywhere in my widget bases. But I need to add this here, size box root. Forgot about this. It's also up here, so that's not a problem. So, and as you see here, this widget contains an overlay, a horizontal box for the prefix. So I have always a prefix in my elements, an element border, which is also my custom border one, and a text input. This text input, by the way, is a rich text editable box, which is my custom one. This simply holds rich text styling. You can use any editable box you want. It doesn't matter. The problem is this normal editable text is only accessible by mouse and keyboard, not by gamepad on Windows. For example, if you have this on PlayStation, it will open the PlayStation keyboard. If not overridden by the project settings, and then you go for keyboard, and you can switch somewhere. Here is the virtual keyboard setting. Not really. Here, enable improved virtual keyboard for Android and such, or here for use integrated keyboard for Android OS. If you have the PlayStation SDK or the Nintendo SDK installed, this will appear here too, and you can enable or disable them. I will always go with disabling and use my own one. So back to this one. The overlay is stacked. So in the overlay only is the horizontal box, and then this is the BDC function button. Simply a function button here. This button is inherited from a common button base. You see it's empty, it just has a size box in size, and this is visible. It does not have any children, and it won't get any children. This button stays empty and it stays invisible because I have also set up a specific style here. Here, the common UI style for the common button style, and you see the normal text style is none. If you go here to the normals, the draw as is also none, and this none is for all of the styles here. This style simply is invisible, but the button, because of the size box, is physically available for clicks, for focusing and stuff. This button has some routines like handling hovering through my subsystem and calling dispatchers on the specific item of the hovered widget, and also a triggering running through my own subsystem, get current focused widget and set current focused widget, my own functions of my subsystem. With this one and this set current focus widget, I simply avoid the default focusing of UMG. All you need to know right now is the function button simply is a button with only the functionality of a button, but nothing of the styling. The styling happens inside of the element button, which has the function button attached to it. Same for text input, has function button attached to it. So, and whenever we, you see this button, before I forget it, it's set to alignment to fill and stretch, fill and fill. So it covers the whole overlay, including the prefix. So if you click anywhere inside, even in the prefix, it will focus on this text box, which is set here by on button clicked, the function button. I'm switching on the common input type by getting the common input subsystem, get current input type, switch on this enum. By mouse and keyboard, I'm setting the text input as focus for the normal focus and the keyboard focus. So going into the system, even this field is covered by the button, I can click inside and write. So with mouse and keyboard, this is forwarding to the text input, but with gamepad, I want to call a virtual keyboard here. And for the virtual keyboard, we need a new widget. First of all, I'm going to my base elements here, creating a new user widget. So you normally want to use an activatable widget here, common activatable widget. Mine one is the same, so the BTC activatable widget. This one is the same one, and I call this element virtual keyboard. Opening this up, virtual keyboard will be full screen, but I'm using an overlay for this, not a canvas. Please don't use canvas all and everywhere. No size box as root, because it will really be full screen. Now we need nothing of this. We don't need a pre-construct right now. We simply need the construct. Can I simply this. The first thing we want to do is creating a new variable, and we call this input text. Making this post and spawn an instance editable. This is the text you input into the keyboard, and which is per default given to the keyboard at least. The next one, we will need dispatchers. So we go for on text committed. We go out and say our text as input for the dispatcher. You can also say text length is empty, makes sense. Let's go for as string also, which uses f string, or as name, which returns simply an f name. Cool. We go for on text cancelled. No inputs on this one. So text input should call the virtual keyboard. Now, the thing is, in my HUD, which is of class HUD, is my, not the cursor, is my UI HUD, which is the widget to this. So the event HUD init is called from the player controller, and it calls the UI widget, HUD widget here with all my stacks inside and stuff. I have added an interface to this, which is the BPI UI. And this one adds functions like HUD push widget, which checks if there is an UI HUD and calls the same function on this HUD widget. And this one has the same interface implemented with the same function here. And this function simply, not really simply, but it checks to which container I want to push, checks if it's a valid class, checks if it can be casted to a normal user widget or if it's an activatable widget, and then pushes to the stacks or to any of the other containers. I want to push to stack. So my settings window here is of type sub window, because my window is the main menu or the game menu. So the sub window is the settings, and I want to push to the prompts. So I go for the text widget and say get player controller, get HUD to get the HUD class. And since I'm using interface functions, I don't need to cast anything. I simply say push widget. So this needs a class reference, in this case a soft class, and this one is the element virtual keyboard. And I want to push this to the prompt. So I have the pushed common here. I know it's a pushed common widget, so this is the stuff I want to hold. First of all, need to check if it succeeded. If not, I error pushing virtual keyboard. All right, so pushed common. I'm casting this to virtual keyboard. Cleaning up the code. So. All right, and I'm promoting this to a variable. And say this one is hold keyboard. Making this private. So now hold keyboard, we need to set input text. All right, well, let's make it correctly. Element keyboard, we go in, we add a new event, custom event, and call this set keyboard defaults. Taking the input text, Alt and drag into the graph to create a set node. Leaving this as input text is fine. The function name I need. Okay. So what is the input text? The input text, we take our text input and get text. All right. So next we need to bind stuff. So we need to bind event to on text committed, which is our dispatchers here. And we need to bind event to on text cancelled. Not unbind, binding, this one. So you can now use a custom event here. Don't do this. Use create event instead. We do this twice. Cool. The reason is we create a matching event, and this now is remotely set to the upper one. So this is on text committed. Oh, I cannot. I have the same one here. Keyboard text committed. This now has no direct connection, and you can put this everywhere where you want. Exactly what I want here. Next one, create matching event on keyboard text cancelled. Oops. This one is for cleaning up. We use this later. We now go for the on text committed. On text committed, we take our text input. And I simply use set text right now. And call on text committed by dragging the dispatcher in. You see it has some nearly the same inputs here. No, I'm using the text input. Get text. So I'm also returning the text box input, and I'm returning the text box name. This is from my personal stuff where I need to identify stuff via iteratings or in a for each loop. And this now returns the text of the element input. So inside of here, I go in and can add the on text committed, and this one will be the text we added with the keyboard. Or the mouse, it's the same one. Like here on text changed and on text committed is the same stuff here. On text changed is not available with the virtual keyboard because the virtual keyboard is yeah, my friend, I'm sorry. Okay. So on text committed is returning our text. We pushed our widget here, everything fine. We don't need to do anything more. We go into a virtual keyboard. And now it's the thing, we need to add our keys here. And for these keys, I use my default button. You see, this is my normal button where I can add content to. And this button has different stylings later on. Right now, it's simply something, but here I also have keyboard, which I will use now. And it can have content, like button content here. I will copy this button. Oh, let me create a new button for this. Which maybe say this one, widget blueprint, which is simple user widget base in my case. So a simple user widget is this, and I say UI sub item keyboard key. So directly from start, let's see. Oops. We go with a size box. It's my root size box. I always do this for widgets that are not full screen. So I now need an overlay. I need an image. This is my image background. I need a text. I will use my text here. So this is simply a rich text. TXT key. The image background we can make not hit testable. The key in this case, so we simply say W because it's the widest key. It's centered. So as next we need our function button. Remember the empty one. This one is now in the top left corner, so we need to fill this up and make it also a variable. Directly at the onClicked here, this is fine. On construct and pre-construct, we don't need pre-construct again because we will spawn this button procedural. There is no pre-construction here. We need the button key, which simply will be a string. So text key will be set text. Take our button key and fill it with a text from the string. The reason I'm not doing this as a text is simply because the keys for this keyboard will be coming from a localizable string table, and string table, not text table, string table. So we go for on keyboard. Let's say on key clicked. We simply say clicked here, even if it's not really clicking. We say out key, which is a string. This is a dispatcher, and we call this again on clicked here. And we go for the button key. So this is the most simple setup. Wait a moment. This one has to be resized. It's the one class. BDC widget base. Yes, reparent me. Widget base, not common widget base. Apply size to. Okay. Again, this one is to automatically set my size box. To my own structure. And my own structure simply is an exposed one for override size. Override size, in this case, default button size will be 32 times 32. And it's automatically promoted here. Not on pre-construct. The pre-construct would be to have the preview in the editor. For now, we only have construct. So this is our default keyboard key. We have our input text. We now need a key map. For the key map, we use a specific format, which will be this one. Okay, this one is the format. Looks a bit like JSON. but it isn't. I need to fix this. And we need a way to convert this into a string table. You can manually create a string table if you want. So localization, this would be a string table for this. The reason for string table is I'm Germany here and using the QWERTZ layout, QWERTZ. USA, for example, use QWERTY, which is QWERTY, and so on, and have special keys here. And if you localize this to a region and language, you can switch the keyboard layouts here to fit the nationality the keyboard will be used in, which is pretty handy. It's pretty hard to fill this automatically. You see, I have 5, looks like level names for Super Mario, but the first number is the block and the second number is the row, which you also see here. We have a block and we have a row. So block 1, row 1, block 1, row 2, and so on. And I've written myself a function to do this. So would be this one. I'm running this widget here. I'm pasting in the block. I'm pushing to string table, and it will automatically populate this here. For this keyboard, it's important. Every value, the source string here, has 11 signs. So we have 1, 2, 0, which is 10, and an empty space behind for 11. These are 11. These are 11. Here we have lots of spaces, also 11. The next one, 11, and so on. Small letters, special signs, special characters, and the last one here is only 11 spaces. So we always need 11 signs here. So, and I have a second function. For this, we need our first little layout. So for the keyboard, we go for a border, first of all. I will center my keyboard here. The next thing I want to have is a vertical box. And on top of the vertical box, I want to have an editable text. But also in a border. So filling up the whole space doesn't look right now, right now. TXT input text and give it a name. The reason this is an editable text is pretty simple. Users with the mouse and keyboard still can select this and enter their text like with any normal text input. So the input text need to be set. Set text. Take the input text. I could use the output here, but it's cleaner if you know, go with a construct. It's cleaner if you know it's set and then get afterwards and in the same frame. The next one, we use a vertical box again. Oh, let's first of all, oh God, completely forgot it. A horizontal box and then a vertical box inside. We duplicate it 3 times. Because if you look at your keyboard on the left side of the number and letter keys, you have Tab, Caps Lock, Shift, Control key. On the right side, you have Backspace, Enter, Shift, and the Control key. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of other keys here, which is here is the box left, box inputs, and the box right. So left and right, we make a variable. And we now need horizontal boxes for the center. And we say this is row 1. We have row 2. We have row 3. So we have number, first letter row, second letter row, third letter row. And we make this one also variables, top, and we fill horizontally, pushing the lefts and the rights to the side. We now need to fill them. So these are horizontal boxes. So we go for each loop, holding down the F key and click. We make an array. We need 4 values. Take in the row 1, row 2, 3, 4. Graph assistant is helping. And we clear the children of all of them. So nicely cleaned up. These rows are now empty. Time to fill them again. To fill them again, we need our blocks. So we go for a current block, which will be an integer, but private. We start with the big letter block. This is block 1. So in this case, current block is 1. Also clamp this value from 1 to 5 and both slider and value. So if you are now here, you have a slider here you can fill, and it cannot go below 1. We now need to get a key map. Also a function for me, because it's what crawls in the dark blueprint function library. This takes a string table, in this case the local virtual key. And we want to take in a block and row. The block, we have the current block here. We now need a row. We know we have 5 rows in our little key map. We have 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we go for loop. We're starting by 1 and ending at 4. And using this index as a row. This function constructs itself to match the key in front and returning the source string. How this is working? So the first one is we have the read-in characters mapped to string table is for the function to get the key map and put it into a string table, and get key map value is here. And get key map value is pretty simple. It takes in a string table as a constant reference. The block number, the row number as integers, and the out value as f string. We're checking if an empty value. We check if the string table is valid. If not, we return early. And then we print our row and block into our format for block and row with the text model. And our value will be ftext from string table. And this is important because this directly gets you the localized text, depending on your setup, region, and language of Unreal. So, getting back into. So we now have our string here. And we know we need our rows in the same order. So I said get and take also the index. So this row here, we enter here, matches this row we get down here, with only one thing to do that is left. we need to remove one from the index. Because this index is 1 to 4, but our array is 0 to 3, so we remove one, it matches again. We know this is valid, we don't need to check it. So this one now is a string, and string means we get all of this at once. We now need to split this up to get individual keys. So we have here char array, get character array from string. We use a for each loop, and now we have loopception for each loop in a for loop. Use reroutes makes stuff so simple to look at. So, and we now need to create widgets. And we use the sub item keyboard key, which takes the button. The button size we can make this struct, and we split this 32 times 32. All right. I'm putting this on top so it's out of the way for the button code. We now need to add this button to one of these rows. So add child to horizontal box. Just to mention it, as always, never use the default add child. Always use the add child with the specific container beside. We know it's a row, it's a horizontal box, so add child to horizontal box. The other one is a relic from Slate, and maybe sooner or later will be deprecated. So use the new ones, and you're good to go. So we added the button to the row. It fills automatically because we have this set in our construct event. I don't think it's running in the pre-construct, is it? No. Okay, we now need to bind this key here again. So bind event to on key clicked. Because remember, a normal button has these on clicked functions and stuff. These ones here. But if you want to have a bigger mass of buttons react to the same event, you do this by binding. This one, create matching events. So on key clicked. And we make this a private event. This does not matter for others. And with this, we technically have our default keyboard set. Let's see if it's working or if we need the localization taking place, or if simply the editor crashes. Let's see. Oh, yes, correct. Maybe should add this stuff. Let's see, I have an overlay here. I'm going for an image just to have something visual. So, and this is EMG hover. I'm making this a nice tint like FFCC00. I'm drawing this as a border with a margin of 0.33. Filling everything up. The heck is this not visible? Drawers box is working. Okay, we make a different drawers rounded box. We fix size, let's say 2, 2, 2, 2 for each corner, so we have a bit of rounded edges. We make the outline FFCC00 and 1 on the alpha. The width will be 2, but the actual tint will be 0. So we have our frame. All right, and this image hover is technically collapsed. Even we see it right now, it is collapsed. So on hover, we set the visibility of this one being not testable. And on unhovered, we set it to collapse again. Oh. The text input is not focusable, but the normal button is, so we use this. Let's see. Is it not activated? That active widget is in. That's right, I know why. Construct is not working here. We need on widget activated. This is the common widget. No pre-construct. We could also override the get desired focus target here and take our input. This one is the same. Do we have auto activating on? Auto activate, support activation focus, auto restore focus is okay. Display an action bar, I am not using one right now. Let's see if it's now doing. Okay, why is it always... We have the same problem here? No, here it is. Reacting. Interesting. What did I different with, for example, the graphics? Yeah, it's a big code. It's a really big code. Delay set current unactivated. Here I'm not even having the desired focus target. Everything set up the same. Because it's not visible. Let's see. Shouldn't be the problem. So input channel name is visible. You're also visible and you're focusable. give it a longer delay. Maybe it's hanging somewhere. Working here, but not there. Okay. It's not taking this widget. Hi, the wizard. The wizard. Nice. Hi. Yes, I currently struggle a bit because my tab bar won't focus the first button of my Twitch settings, and also not of my gameplays, where it should technically focus the cursor style first. Did I set it somewhere here? I'm even not setting it. Wait a moment, fill cursors. Get child at 0. What buttons do I spawn here? I spawned normal user widgets. Okay, all right. Cast to sub item cursor. Let's see. Loses focus. It's in. Okay, here the same. I can select, but not on Twitch. Let's see, button is visible. This one here is not as testable. Why the heck is it not focusing? Is it resetting? Self only. Oh, everything fine here. Let's see. Make an event reply. No, different way. We go for different print. Add it to focus pass. Print here. Let's see. A simple little hello. Okay, what's the reason it's not selecting? It's working for gameplay. At least a bit. Do not auto-activate it. We'll leave it as is, activating the widget here. If I go here for a print, is it activating at least this? So settings, push the hello, also here, yes. So it's activating the widget, which is cool. But it's not receiving the focus here. This construct called. Even construct is called. Let's see, we have a bigger switcher here. Starting active as 4. the navigation different? Why is it working for things like the graphics, for example? An escape. What's autofocus, restore focus, no back handle. Select the input monitor. So, and this one does the same. Also not focusable. Wherever they are switched, okay. But this widget is added to focus path, so technically it should call. What is focusable in? We have no analog value here, so it should work. What is the problem? Image hover is below. So this should also work and not collide with the function button. Basis. Where's my tab bar? Here. Can escape. Left and right is wrapping in this case. Also none. It does not set automatic focusing because it's not focus systemed. Input priority. Oh, we're talking, okay. And there's our keyboard. God bless, okay. Cool, cool. My dear, all right. Let's continue. So I'll click this button. We go input text to string. We append our new key. And we need to set this text back. Adding our last key to this keyboard. I will give this button shortly a different design because they are bad to see. The background image will be tinted black. Draw a rounded box, fixed size 2, 2, 2, and 2 with a 1 pixel border. All right. And I will also give them a padding to each side. So now we added buttons unclicked. Cool. Okay, much better to see. The keyboard itself has also a border. Won't give it a size right now. And no style. We'll see this later. So we need to focus the first button. Now it comes again. We take row 1, get child at 0, that current focused widget. Technically set focus and set keyboard focus for this. I have no hover or others, so we need to add this. So we actually see what button is pressed. Copying the background and say this is the image hover. The brush itself stays invisible and the border, go away. We go again for our FFCC00. This is collapsed and a variable. And on hover, we set the visibility not to testable, and on unhover, we set it to collapsed. So let's see. Looks good. Technically we would write now, but I guess I am focusing the actual child. Okay, how we do this? We go for the class settings, class defaults here, and make this focusable. And on edit to focus path, we take a function button and set current focused widget on this. Literally capturing the focus, it's forwarding it to the function button itself. I should do the trick without a casting here. So we technically add to this text, but we don't populate the text itself. We have a text box on top, as you remember. So writing. Oh, of course, we need a text style, and this is in this case silk. I won't add decorators right now. Now we have text. Cool. Oh, and because we have silk, we are right here. We need font changer here. Copying this over. I'm placing it technically below this. What this is doing, from my dialog backend plugin, I can switch the text style to something different. Like I have a text style for the silkscreen font, I have a text style for a clear font, and I have a text style for the dyslexic font. And I can switch between them, so I want to have them visible on screen whenever I use a text style. So still not writing. Why not writing? Printing. Oh, it's adding, but it's not setting the text correctly. Let's try it with the set editable text. Was losing focus. Now we're talking. All right. Oh, because we are calling this widget here, I need to get into my subsystem. Set enable core global input, and I'm making this disabled. What the global input does is I have a subsystem that captures the global inputs for some keys. So my tab system works with the LNDR triggers, and some of my hotkeys of the Action RPG part will work with this too. So on cancelled and on committed, I'm making it working it again with the simple switch. So I cannot switch between the tabs. So these LNR keys here to switch between the tabs is running via the subsystem. Now that I opened, I cannot switch again until I close the keyboard. So we want get the layout a bit cleaner. So these ones all need to be centered and fill. And we need an actual binding for the R key. So this is our last key value here. So what was in the dark subsystem? I'm binding to on key down. Create an event. So, and this is on confirm key. or on global key down. Let's do it this way. The pressed key, if it equals the right trigger, let's say digital, call text commit. Now some little stuff. We go into the text. Count. Making it easier. Why not? So here we have the length. If the length is bigger than 0 or less than equal 0, in this case is empty. As string. And from string, we go also with string to name, and we have all outputs. And we deactivate this widget. This is for our confirming. The next key we want is the face button right. And face button right means we call the onCancelled. And then deactivating the widget. But first of all, we need unbind all events from global key down. Then we can also unbind directly. So we'll do this. Okay, that's fine. To do the same down here. Okay, looks a bit confusing, but we don't want the keyboard to run in the background all key inputs, so we unbind it from this event again. Let's see, text input. Did I use a set? No. Set editable text is the correct one. Same down here. And we need to set the default text. Let's see. So we enter simple hello. And the commit is not running. Oh, yep, for sure. Because of this. If this isn't working, I need to find a different way. This is just... Okay, this is doing. Cool. Then we don't need the binding here. So this can go, all of this can go. And you could go. Thank you. All right. And this one private. Okay, we have text committed and we have text cancelled. So we need to get back to focusing this button. Function button. Set current focused widget. Same for here. This is because of the gamepad. Where is the focus going to? Now it's not setting the text. Setting the default text, setting the editable text. But it worked from here. Oh, it's not working again. Yes. Okay, my bad. Delete variables, Patrick. Don't delete them. Okay. Yes, much better. So with a little keyboard here. We now also have the space keys in. Like I said earlier, we have the empty space keys in our localization table for the keyboards. So this ones here do have empty spaces. This one here has an empty space at the end. This one has lots of empty spaces because each row needs to have 11 keys exactly. So we need to check this here. Moving this a bit further. Simply check if this equals exactly a space. Not. There's sadly no not equal exactly. There's only equal exactly. If this is true, we add our little button. false, we leave it. So, much better. Now the empty keys are gone. So the first other button we need, the horizontal box where all of this sits in, should wrap into all directions. No escaping. So this is also wrapping. And in box right, we add, should we add a keyboard button? We add a keyboard button to keep the style. And this is the button commit. Button key. Let's see. What do we have? We take the silk screen and we use something. Later one can use an icon here. I now use a simple sign. And the button has a size of 32 times 48. And on clicked, go for this same exact thing here. We don't need a key, it's not important. Let's see what's happening. Yes. Correct. So this is the key normally used for the enter, the return key in this case. We add a second one for this, and this is the button delete. Again, assign table. Using the arrows, still using silk screen. So the delete button, say 48 times 48, and this is 48 times 32. Now we go for a spacer in between. Make this filling on the right side, pushing those into each other's different corner. So, correct. The delete button. Unclicked. We take our string. The key doesn't matter. Let's see. We got functions for this. Go left. So we return the left characters in the complete length of the string -1. Let's see. So we have RT set U is wrong. U gets erased and we continue. So now we want to get this more gamepad modular. So we also have other keys here. checking again for the key. This time we go for the face button left. Below. We add a custom event and say manual delete. We call this private and call this whenever this is true. So if we now go in, and with face button left, we can delete keys. Looks promising. So technically, we now go for a final thing for the very basic keyboard. And this is the left trigger. Digital. And this is our block rotation. So we take our block, say ++, and now we need to check if our block is greater than what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's greater than 5, set the block back to 1. And now we need to populate the map again. We'll go in and say a custom event, fresh keys, private. We don't need to set the text, we just need to go into the first for loop where we clear the children. We refresh the keys after setting to 1 and when we simply leave it as is. So if we now hit L2, simply switch through them. The thing is, if I now hit L2 while I have big letters, nothing happens in the foreground. In the background it is that silk screen, the font itself, has no lowercase letters. So this technically would be the lowercase letters of silk screen. Then came mathematical signs and currency signs. Then we have other special characters. And then we have a lot of special signs here. And this is the very basic virtual keyboard with some problems of focusing in between. Still having some problems with focusing, but that's a thing of UMG not triggering correctly in the activatable widget. In the stupid word, activatable widget switcher. And I will get to this. I have faith in this one. So for now, first of all, let us take a look on what my project currently is running at. As you see in this little nice preview here, I should definitely set the MCP PSX default parameters. enables CRT to off. Much better. Okay, playing the game, meaning we have this little feeling of an old CRT. And our little horde is spawning. Nice touch on this. Every effect here, the CRT filter, the VHS filter, the scan lines can be deactivated in the options menus. So you can even adjust the strength of each if you want to keep a bit of the retro look. Yes, and this is how it's going right now. I have a basic attack. Those things can attack me. They technically can also kill me, but yes. Retro. Plan for the next part in this case. I will finish this visual keyboard, of course, with more keys like switching between uppercase, lowercase directly and caps lock by adding here another key. In this case, it will be, let me think of, I think, face button top. And this one will switch between current block 1, current block 2, and keep current block 1, even if a second letter is entered, which means I also will have the second letter mode. So if the first block is set and you click a key, it will switch automatically into block 2. Like now here we would say enter block 2. So the first letter is uppercase and all following letters are lowercase automatically. If not set, keep uppercase, which will be here, this select. This is pretty quick here. So on true, it will return to 1. If false, it will return to make it safe. So this one. Yes. And of course, if you are in special science, it don't switches back to block 2 or such. It would switch back to the science block where you were. This is something for the future, but right now this is the basic, the keyboard keys, the keyboard itself, and the text input. I will post the screenshots of these systems, including with the details here in the Discord. So for now, I wish you a good night. Hopefully not too warm night. We currently have around 26 degrees here. And yes, hope we see us next time. See ya.